Previously on TinSi Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ.
Rumors that the evil spirits were doing harms around in his hometown, that a yellow dark goblin had appeared from nowhere, gave 5 buttons to the bride and instructed her to pin them onto the goblin's clothes. A sudden thunderclap. The goblin was thereby eliminated. Teahouse Laojun descended upon Mount Heming, commanding his divine troops to battle against the evil spirits. And then he watched the arrow that approached and immediately turned into lotus flower. Down the TinSi then made a heavy wave with a cinnabar pen, and the mountain split in half, trapping the 6 demon kings inside. One day, TinSi Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ was traveling when he met an old man begging with a teenager in tow. Soon the old man died of hunger after a short distance. Feeling sympathy for the young boy, Zhānɡ decided to help and selected a site with good feng shui for the old man's burial. The boy went to a village and found a hairpin from an old woman. And after burying the old man, they stayed at the old woman's house for the evening since it was already late night. The old woman had no children and her adopted nephew ignored her. So she took the boy as his son. From then on, the old woman spun yarn and the boy back. Life was hard, but they were able to get by. During the Qingming festival, the child went to pay respects at the graveside. A barbarian from the south deceived him, saying,
"This is a holy land. If you have 3 times, your family will be ruined, and you will die."
The child didn't believe him and retorted,
"I'm already alone now. How can my family will be ruined?"
A while later, Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ learned and told the child,
"He will be back, but remember, you must not disturb the grave."
A year from then, the barbarian did come again and urged the child to disturb the grave. But no matter how hard a man persuaded, the child wouldn't budge. From then on, he lived a better and happier life and became very wealthy. He got married, had 5 children, who all became high-ranking officers. The boy himself even got promoted to be government officer. Now that the boy had grown up, Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ arrived to congratulate him and was warmly treated by a banquet. However, the TinSi only chatted with the young man, didn't consume any food or alcohol. After a while, Zhānɡ thanked the young man and was about to leave.
"I am full and satisfied. Thank you, boy. I'm leaving now."
As soon as he finished his words, he vanished in a blink of an eye as if a cloud of mist blown away by some breeze. It was only then the young man came to realize that his humble life savior was no ordinary person. The exhort relating his father's grave was an enlightenment from a deity. One day, Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ came across the Vulcan and asked what was he doing. He said he was going to set the whole Yangzhou city on fire. Zhānɡ told him don't bother. He'll do it instead. The Vulcan refused.
"No way you are capable of this."
"Why can't I? Just go home and consider it done."
When Zhānɡ arrived in Yangzhou, he had all people in the city put up lanterns and told them this would prevent a catastrophe. That night, the entire city was full of red lanterns, and even the sky was painted in red. The fire god peed from heaven and actually thought that Yangzhou had been burned. Later, the god of heaven found that the city was not burned and asked the Vulcan for reasons. He said,
"Yangzhou was burned. The TinSi did it for me."
The god of heaven asked in fury.
"Then why is it still intact?"
The Vulcan turned to Zhānɡ. He said,
"When I arrived in Yangzhou, people there were very pitiful. I couldn't bear to burn it."
The Vulcan shouted angrily,
"You sinned against me. I have to make you pay. I will burn all your temples."
The furious fire god then burned all Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ's temples. Zhānɡ had no choice but told the Vulcan,
"You burn down my temple. I will live in your temple."
From then on, Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ became the host of the Temple of the Fire God. Year 155. At the age of 122, Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ was contemplating at the Daoist temple. Having lived for so long and witnessed the vicissitudes of the world, he felt that it was time to step down and pass on the torch to the next generation. He believed that he had done all he could for the way of Daoism, and hoped that the younger generation would continue to carry on and develop the teachings. Knowing that his time was near, he decided to hold a meeting with important members and priests of every branch, aiming to assess the popularity and growth of the religion. as well as to pass on the leadership to the next generation. During the meeting, Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ announced his decision to step down and pass on leadership to his disciple, Zhānɡ Heng, who he had raised and mentored himself. He emphasized that the position of the celestial master could only be passed down to his own descendants, and that the continuation and growth of the religion would be under the leadership of his family. The following year, Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ passed away, and his descendants carry on the teachings of his Zheng Yi Dao and the way of Daoism. With his pass away, Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ became a celestial being of heaven. One day, he took his nephew to play in the heaven. When he came to the garden, he saw that the flowers in the garden were all withered and the ground was dry and cracked. His nephew felt pity and watered the flowers. Unexpectedly, a catastrophe to the earth realm was caused by the watering. Because of these 3 showers of water in heaven, 10 prefectures, 108 counties were flooded on earth. 玉皇大帝 was so angry that he blamed for Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ's taking mortals to heaven without permission, causing so many deaths of life. He thus punished Zhānɡ by descending him to the mortal world. As it happened, one day he dressed up as a beggar, came to the house and yelled,
"Lady, be merciful and spare me some food."
A woman's voice passed the house.
There is nothing for you to eat.
Only one piece of whale cake, which is reserved for the child's buttocks mat.
Zhānɡ Dào Línɡ saw how people in the world wasted food, so he asked 玉皇大帝 to charge less food. It is said that wheat, sorghum, and millet used to have ears from bottom to top. After Zhānɡ rubbing them with his hands, only a few spikelets remained on top. He then went for sesame seeds and beans, but he stopped rubbing because the beans and sesame capsules were stuck in his hands. It is the reason that nowadays sesame seeds and beans have tassels from bottom to top. If you enjoyed the video, hit like button and subscribe. Stay tuned at Don't Be Serious for more Chinese urban legends and Chinese mythology stories. Until then, I will see you in the myth.